here are our objectives for today. At the end of today's session, candidates should be able to record some valuable insights from the 2019 Chief Examiner's Report. Identify the specific things that the examiners look for in a Stage 2 extended writing task and the marks allotted to each. Explain the correct usage for these words: is, his, their, been, and been. Explain what slangs and colloquialisms are and provide examples. And spell correctly some of the words most often misspelled in English. All right, let's start by looking at the rubric for Stage 2, the extended writing activity. Now, I want you to have a very clear idea of what the examiners are looking for so that you know exactly what to do in the exam so that you can score maximum marks. Okay, so for your plan, we've spoken about the plan so many times because it is so important. So you get the maximum marks that you can get for your plan is 2, okay? And you get this for a plan that is appropriate and that includes all the key points. Then you get 3 marks for the content. Candidates write letters that includes all the bulleted points. So if you have information on all the bulleted points, then you will get your full 3 marks. Writing is legible throughout. It means that you write clearly and the examiner has no difficulty at all reading what you write. Then we go, you get 1 mark for that. Then we go to the next one. Candidate writes at least 200 words. If you write below the 200, especially way below the 200, you're going to lose that 1 valuable mark. So make sure that you adhere to the word limit. Format and structure, very, very important. Format and structure should be appropriate for a letter, and you get 2 marks for using the correct format and structure. So you know that if you are writing the friendly letter, you're going to start with your address and the date. You're going to move to the salutation. Then you get to the body, and you must write the body in paragraphs. Every paragraph you're going to indent. Then you get to your complimentary close. If you are writing your formal letter, after you have written your address and the date, then you have to write the inside address, go to the salutation, then the body of the letter written in paragraphs and your complimentary close. And you get your full 2 marks for format and structure. Then we look at language and tone. Remember, this is an English exam, okay? So language, tone, expression, and vocabulary should be appropriate for a letter, a formal letter. All right? And you get 3 marks for that. Logical sequence. And I do believe that if you follow the order of the bulleted points, then you will write in sequence. Where your writing is presented in a logical sequence, most of the time, you can get up to 2 marks. Sentence structures. Correctly uses a range of simple and compound sentence structures throughout your writing task, and you earn a full 3 marks. Spelling. Oh yes, spelling is extremely important. Correct usage to Stage 2 of common words and relevant keywords, including those from work, study, and everyday life, you get 3 marks maximum. And we've already spoken about the importance of punctuation. 3 full marks if your piece of writing is properly punctuated. So you get marks for using your initial capital letters, uppercase and lowercase appropriately, end punctuation marks. And look at this. The examiner is going to deduct a mark if the whole script is written in capital letters. We've also spoken about that. All right? Then the next one, you can gain a point for proofreading. Simply reading over your work and making sure that if there are errors, you correct them before you submit them. And remember, there's a section for you to indicate if you have proofread your work, you earn 1 mark. This can, after you have proofread your work, you need to indicate so, and this can be done by using your name, by giving your initial, or simply making a cross, or ticking a box, depending on the situation. Of course, grammar is very, very important. So make sure that your subjects and your verbs are in agreement and you have correct use of tenses. And you get a full 3 marks for grammar. Back at paragraphs again. We've always spoken about the importance of writing in paragraphs. So you earn 1 mark if your writing is organized in paragraphs. And remember, for each paragraph, you go to a new line and you indent. Excellent. Now let's look again. There's so much wisdom to gain from the examiner's report. So let's look again at what the examiner is saying. And I hope that you have been making note at home. So the main issues continue to be subject and verb agreement. If you know you have that problem, practice, work on it during the break. Then we have inconsistent use of tenses. Then we have people who use them instead of them, and we know why that happens. Them, that's Jamaican, right? So when we are pluralizing our nouns, we use them. Mango them, boy them, book them. Right? So, and we sometimes confuse or forget that them is Creole and them is standard English. So the examiner is picking this up on the exam paper, so you have to be careful about that. This year, and we're talking about 2019 because this is the 2019 report, this year it was notable that a number of candidates still use is for his, and sometimes this is because of how we speak, as for has, and an for a. And we've spoken about the an and the a already. The examiner says correct grammar and punctuation are required, irrespective of the type of document being written. Okay? Of particular note is the use of there. Please pay careful attention to the spelling. So we have T-H-E-I-R, we have T-H-E-R-E, and we have the contraction T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. And we're going to look at those in detail later on. The examiner also says, candidates should be aware of when S, yes, S, when S is required at the end of a word. All right, very, very important. All right, ensure that there is access to a dictionary for all candidates in order that they are not disadvantaged and that candidates are aware of the definition required. For example, you know that words have multiple meanings. So the examiner may ask you to give the definition for the noun or the adjective or the verb. Make sure you give the correct part of speech. All right, so we have noun or adjective where appropriate. Now, I don't know if there is any school in Jamaica that can provide every child with a dictionary for the exam. So I'm going to encourage you to make sure that you take your personal dictionary to the exam room. We are to remind candidates to look at the number of marks per question so that they can achieve maximum marks by giving the requisite number of answers. So always pay attention to the number of marks assigned to each question. All right, so let's look at there. Here are some rules. Please take note. Rules for using T-H-E-R-E and T-H-E-I-R. Paying attention to the meaning and parts of speech of these words, as well as common ways they are used, will help to prevent errors when using them in your writing. Rule number 1, T-H-E-R-E works as a, it works as a noun. Okay? So the word there has many uses, but more than any other function, there works as a noun, meaning in that place. All right? So here's an example. We jogged from way over there to the end of the block. Then we sprinted the rest of the way home. Another example, the child took one look at the haunted house and screamed, "I'm never stepping foot in there." Move on now to rule number 2. T-H-E-R-E also works as an adverb. Alas, there can also work as an adverb meaning the opposite of here. So we talk about here and there, right? Do you hear that dog barking over there? All right. May I please sit there? The officer shouted, "Stop right there." Right? So that's T-H-E-R-E. There is a busy word. It can also work as a pronoun. Finally, there may also be used as a pronoun to introduce a noun or a phrase. Example, is there a desk I can use to do my homework? Here's another one. There are too many people on this elevator. All right? So we move over now to the second one. And I think probably this is the most problematic of the 3. And this is T-H-E-I-R. Okay? And it works as a possessive adjective, ownership. All right, so a noun must come after it. All right, so THEIR primarily works as a possessive adjective to describe something that belongs to them. Okay, a noun typically follows THEIR, so always look out for that noun. All right, take a look at these examples below. Notice that a noun follows every THEIR. We walked their dog for them while they were on vacation. We walked their dog. Excellent. All right. Next one. Their cars. So cars is the noun. Their cars were parked on the street while they were having their driveway repaved. All right. So cars and driveway are the nouns that come immediately after their to show ownership. I offered to babysit their toddler so they could get out on a date. Toddler is the noun that comes after there. Remember, please write this down. Remember, THEIR shows possession, or you may want to say ownership. So that's the one with the I. Try and remember that one. All right? THERE does not show ownership. All right? THERE is the one that is very busy, has many functions. Good? All right. Why are there THERE and THEIR so similar? All right, you guessed it, they are homophones. All right, and if we break down the word homophone, we realize that homo means same, and phone, yes, phone means sound. So words that are homophones will have the same sound. Homophones like THERE and THEIR sound the same, but as we have shown, they have different spellings and meanings. Good? Wonderful. There are so many homophones in English language. In this case, there's even another word that sounds similar to THERE and THEIR, but it has a different meaning, right? And it's THEY apostrophe RE. And notice where the apostrophe is placed? Right here between the Y and the R. That's right where the A is missing. All right? Good. So the word there is actually a contraction of two words, they are. So it's a shortened form of two words, they are. And again, it should not be confused with THERE or THEIR. All right, let's do this activity quickly. I believe their hand sanitizer is finished. Right? Hand sanitizer as a noun comes right after there. So that's the best choice right there. Number two, we have our tickets, but they don't have their tickets. Tickets is a noun, comes right after THEIR. All right? Then number three says, there is a restaurant next to the car park. All right? Four, how many people are there waiting, in that place waiting? And five, they are always early for classes. That's a contraction now. They are always early for classes. Then we go to bin, like garbage bin, and bean. So remember B-E-E-N, bin. All right? So bin and bean. The words bean and bin, if you pronounce them correctly, you shouldn't mix them up, right? They are sometimes confused. As a rule, the word bin is always used after have, whereas bean is never used after have. It is used after be, okay? Been is the past participle of the verb be and is usually used with the perfect aspect with have in all its forms, had and has. So I can say have been, had been, has been. Got it? Right. I have been busy, not I have been busy. Good? Being is the present participle of the verb be, and it can be used with the continuous form of the verb be in all its forms. So we have am, is, was, are, were. So I tell my students that be is the mother, right? It's a mother verb, and these are her children. So we have the children right here. All right, so here are the children, am, is, was, are, and were. All right, so these are the children for being, for be, sorry. Example, when I arrived at the scene of the accident, the victim was being placed in an ambulance. Was being, all right? Next one, I don't know why, but John is being really difficult today. Something is wrong with John, all right? He is being difficult. Being can also be used as a noun, all right? So the word being can be used as a noun. I am a human being, you are a human being. Good? Being as a gerund. The word being can be used as a gerund, which is a type of noun. So when verbs act like noun or verbs function like noun. All right? Do all actors like being famous? His being clumsy caused the accident. The word being can also be used as a noun meaning creature. All right? I watched a movie about a being from outer space. Being can also mean existence. All right? We are called from nothingness into being. Good? All right, let's do this activity quickly. What have you been or been? What have you been doing all this time? Notice have, all right? His temper tantrums have been very trying on me, all right? Have been. 3, you are being rather stubborn, I would say. You are being, all right? And 4, the film is being shown at the downtown theater. Another problem 1, is and his. So we have a verb and we have a pronoun. His is a pronoun. It is the possessive form of he, used as an attributive or predicative adjective. So his coat, the coat that belongs to the male, his coat is the brown one. The brown coat is his, all right? Do you mind his speaking first? His means that or those belonging to him, all right? So it's masculine. His was the cleverest remark of all. I borrowed a tie of his, all right? Remember that one, that's the one with the H. These words know. Is, am, are, and was. Remember we spoke about them. They are children of the verb be, okay? They are classified as primary auxiliary verbs, which means they can function as the main verbs or as auxiliary verbs, and you know that's supporting verbs in a sentence. Example, Jerome K. Jerome is my favorite author. Is the main verb here, okay? John is writing a leave letter now. In this sentence, is functioning as the supporting verb. All right, excellent. We've done well. All right, another problem area now, and we're going to go through this quickly. Remember, if you have a first aid in English at home or a junior English at home, you are in a good position, right? You can never outgrow those books. So sometimes we have to go back and we have to revise from those books, all right? So the examiner says some students have a problem knowing when to add S to words, all right? So let's look at singular and plural nouns, okay? To make regular nouns plural, add S to the end of some words, not every word, all right? So we move from laptop to laptops and from house to houses, right? So we move from talking about one to more than one. So we add the S to show that it is plural, cool? If the singular noun ends in S, SS, SH, CH, X, or Z, we add ES to the end to make it plural. So that is how we get bus to change to buses and lunch to change to lunches. We add ES, all right? If the noun ends with F or FE, the F is often changed to VE before adding the S to the form to make the plural version. So that's how we move from wife, FE, to wives, WIVES. Wolf, wolves. There are some exceptions, however, look at this. So we have roof and roofs, just add the S. Belief and beliefs, just add the S. Chef and chefs, chief and chiefs, all right? So there are many rules, we just have to learn them and remember them and apply them. If a singular noun ends in Y and the letter before the Y is a consonant, change the ending to IES to make the noun plural. So that's how we move from city, C-I-T-Y. Right? Some people say we drop the Y and we add IES. All right? So we have puppy and we change puppy to puppies. All right? If the singular noun ends in Y and the letter before the Y is a vowel, simply add an S to make it plural. So we move from Ray to rays and from boy to boys. Excellent. If the singular noun ends in O, add ES to make it plural. So we have potato and we have potatoes, right? So we just add the ES. We have tomato and we have tomatoes. But there are exceptions. I know some of you are saying there are too many exceptions to the rules in English, but that's just how it is. So the exceptions are we move from photo to photos. We can't add any E. And from piano to pianos, no E, right? Some nouns don't change at all. You know those, right? When they are pluralized. So sheep never changes. Series never changes. Equipment, that is one that I see people make a lot of error with. We never put S on equipment. We talk about pieces of equipment. All right? And we talk about pieces of furniture, but we never say furnitures, okay? All right, and there are some irregular nouns, all right? So irregular nouns follow no specific rules. So it's best to memorize these or look up the proper pluralization in the dictionary. So we have examples like child, children, man, men, tooth, teeth, mouse, mice, all right? Let's talk about slangs. The examiner spoke about slangs and colloquialism, right? Slang is vocabulary that is used between people who belong to the same group and who know each other well. Slang is very informal, yes, like when you're talking to your friends and your family, all right? Your everyday, ordinary language. It can offend people if it is used about other people or outside a group of people who know each other well. Slang normally refers to particular words and meanings, but can include longer expressions and idioms. And many slangs are short-lived. They don't last very long. Here are some examples. Look at the word coin. And it's another way here to refer to money. Somebody says she's about to earn some major coin, some major money. All right, so coin here is used as a slang. Next one, we use this one a lot, dying. Something that was so funny, you died laughing. OMG, this stand-up is hilarious, I'm dying. And we know you're not literally dying, all right? It's a slang. Warning, all right? Slang changes quickly, and slang words and expressions can disappear from the language. For these reasons, it is generally best for learners of English to avoid using slangs. Colloquialism now. In literature, colloquialism is the use of informal words, phrases, or even slang in a piece of writing. Colloquial expressions tend to sneak in as writers, being a part of a society, are influenced by the way people speak in that society. All right? So here are some examples of colloquialism used in our everyday life. Wanna instead of want to. Gonna, and we see that a lot in writing. Going to. Y'all instead of you all. Feeling blue, meaning you're feeling sad. Buzz off, go away. All right? Then, very important, we have some words in English language that are commonly misspelt, all right? There are many, and if you go on the internet, you will see that extensive list. Go on that list and look at the ones that you have a problem with and make note of those and practice the correct spelling at home. Now is a good time to get your family members to help you and to give you a regular spelling quiz, all right? So make sure that you go on the internet and you look for the most frequently misspelled words in English and look at the ones that you have a problem with and learn to spell those correctly. So when you go in the exam, you can attain full marks for spelling, all right? So we have accidentally, accommodate. It says with accommodate, remember, this word is large enough to accommodate both a double C and a double M. Cool? Then we have acquire, all right? We also have category, all right? And we have cemetery. Don't let this one bury you. Don't let the cemetery bury you. It ends in ERY with nary and ery in it, with never and ery in it. You already know that it starts on C. All right, changeable, the verb change, it keeps its E, so we don't drop the E as we are accustomed to saying. It keeps its E here to indicate that the G is soft and not hard. So changeable, keep the E, add able. All right? Then we have collectible. Column is a problematic one, right? Because we have a silent letter. The silent final N is not uncommon in English, especially after M. And committed, remember, 2 M's, 2 T's. All right? Definitely, very frequently misspelled. There is no A indefinitely. Remember that. Then we have discipline and drunkenness. I like this one. You would be surprised how many sober people omit one of the N's in drunkenness. Remember that, and you'll always remember how to spell it. All right? Foreign. frequently misspelled. All right, so it's F-O-R-E-I-G-N. Grateful is another word that is often misspelled. It says, keeping great out of grateful is great. Understand that? So remember, when you're spelling grateful, don't think of the great that you know. All right? So keeping great out of grateful is great. So grateful is G-R-A-T-E-F-U-L. And of course, guarantee is another one that is often misspelled. Noticeable is one that is often misspelled. Occasionally is a common one, so it's O-C-C-A-S, 2 C's, 1 S. Occurrence, 2 C's, 1 R. All right? So guess what? Practice makes perfect. I have tried it, I know. Others have tried it, they know. So you are going to practice, practice, practice. Do you believe that you can be successful in your English skills exam? Of course you do. Believe you can.